Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Jen and Sharon. Guess which one I am? Oh, wait, it tells you right on the screen. Hi, Sharon. How are you today?
Hi, Jen. I was afraid people would be confused, and that's why, we can switch our pictures back and forth.
I know that it's weird when you do that. It's like, it's like when you've been sleeping on one side of the bed for all that time during your marriage, and then you go to a hotel and your spouse takes the other side. You're like, wait, what? That's not.
But I thought we should be left to right, Jen and Sharon. So what are we talking about today, Jen?
Well, as usual, I'm going to throw you a little curveball because we have a topic, but I have something to talk about before then that is totally not related to it. But I need some help from everybody. Anybody who's watching this, please help me. We've reached that part of winter where my hands feel like paper bags. It's so bad. I feel like I have tried every lotion, every cream, everything, and I still have paper bag old lady hands. So help. Somebody tell me what to do about this. And also, washing isn't helping.
Am I allowed to talk too?
Yes. Help me.
Well, did you try Aquaphor?
Yeah, I've tried that.
At night? Like slap, like a lot?
Okay, a lot at night. Okay. I will redouble my efforts.
Like, make it gross. It's got to be greasy.
Okay, but here's the problem. I like to read for a few minutes before I sleep. And if I put the lotion on before I pick up the book, then the book gets gross. And then if I wait till I'm sleepy, then I don't feel like doing it. So by the time I'm done and my eyelids are heavy, I just want to like throw the book to the side, turn off the light, and go to bed.
What you need is an assistant. Mm-hmm. So your assistant they'll be the ones to get their hands greasy.
Okay.
And they'll give you a little hand massage on the back of your hand because your fingertips are not suffering, right?
Right.
So you get a pampering hand massage.
I'm liking this.
And then you pick up your book and it's all in the back of your hand and it doesn't bother your book.
Oh, okay. Now I just have to train the cat how to do this.
No, the child, the husband.
Yes.
Whoever's available.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. That's a great tip. I am going to try that out. And
yes, tell us your other magic lotions in the comments though too.
Yeah, I want to know it puts the lotions on the skin. Is that from Silence of the Lambs? Anyway, we've totally digressed.
Not my fault.
Gone completely off the rails, and it's not even 2 minutes into our coffee. But all right, we really did have a topic to talk about today. My point is, and I did have a point. Today, we were going to talk about college and what college was like when we applied and how different it is today, because we've noticed a few differences. And there's a reason we're going to talk about this. It's on our minds because Sharon and I have both been working really hard to put together a college summit. And I should say we're part of a large team of people working on this with real experts.
Oh, I can share the link.
Yeah, so tell them all about it.
Okay. And you can see what we're talking about. But there it is. All right. But yes, it is on our minds because we're helping to plan this summit, which starts in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be amazing. And my oldest is 9th grade. So I have no idea what's going on. And, some of us parents didn't go to college. So we have nothing to compare it to. But if that's your case, don't worry because none of us know what we're doing because a lot of it's changed.
The good news, bad news, whether you went to college or not, it's all different. And
so it's okay.
Everybody's starting pretty much from zero. And whatever notions you had of it are probably different than what you think. Plus, bonus, we got a pandemic to throw in there just to make it that more different and unusual. So this is going to be a really good summit talking about that. But because it's been on our minds, we were sort of chatting the other day about what's different from when we were looking at college. And I'll just start by I'll age myself here and say I actually had to hand write out my college applications. I mean, there was.
Oh, I did too.
Like I couldn't even use the typewriter on it. I think you had to actually. Well, that's not true. The essay was typed.
Yes.
Somehow you had to type the essay. There was a big enough box you could put the form in, and you could type it. And you had to try to not have mistakes because you just got one kick at it.
Well, you'd have to have your whiteout ready just in case. But even that, you'd rather not do that because this was really important. And it's not as if you could just print out another copy, because remember, it came in those, you get a big booklet, like a thick magazine, and the application would be a perforated tear out sheet, remember? In the back.
I'm having PTSD just thinking back to this. When you said the word perforated, it took me right back. You're right.
But side note, my children do not know how to tear out perforated pages.
No, I don't either. One of them got a check, for an employment check.
Yeah.
Good job. And it came in one of those things where you have to like fold the sides, fold the top, and then, oh my, she totally mangled it. I'm not even sure it was usable at that point.
They don't, how the whole trick, which you learn young when you're our age, because we had workbooks. They don't have workbooks where you tear out the pages. And for me, you would tear out the math sheet and hand it in. And then like by the end of the school year, it would be empty with like, except a few pages at the back, because we had torn them out all year.
Right.
Well, one of my kids was tearing something out, and they don't know the trick of like, you hold the top corner and like ease the whole thing out.
They don't even
She was trying to like, out at the perforation, one bump by bump. And I actually said to her, this was not my best parenting moment. I said, this is so painful watching you do this. Will you let me show you how to tear out a perforated page?
They don't even know that you have to fold it first and crease it.
No.
So, okay, here's something else that's totally different. How many colleges did you apply to?
Half a dozen, maybe? No, it was less than that. Maybe 3 or 4.
I think I'm pretty sure I applied to 4. And the rule of thumb where I went to high school, the advice I should say that was given was, one quote unquote safety school, which has various terms, sure admit, whatever. There's certain things, certain ways they called it, depending on where you went to school. And one that was a reach, maybe a little above what your test scores and grades might suggest. And then maybe, like 2 in the middle. And that's pretty much what I think that the formula was. Now kids are applying to, a dozen or more as a normal thing. And
Didn't I hear
why? Yes.
What? Didn't I hear this is part of why acceptance rates are lower than they used to be, because there's just, even with the same number of kids, they're applying to that many more. So like, I don't know, some kids are hogging all the acceptances.
Yeah, it's a math problem, and I don't math, but it is. Here's the thing: is that because you don't know how much it's going to cost for the most part until you apply, unless if you're applying to a public university, state school that doesn't vary too much on their tuition. That's one thing. But if you're applying to private colleges that have these gigantic sticker prices, but most people don't pay that sticker price. You get something knocked off, either because you have some demonstrated financial need, or they hand out what they call merit aid, which is a fancy word for a discount. But you don't know what that magic number is really going to be until you apply. So kids are spreading their bets by applying to a wider number of schools, but that creates more difficulty for everybody. Colleges too. Colleges want to accept the kids they think will accept them back.
Yeah, I don't remember this whole idea of, I'm still not sure what it means because my oldest is too young. This whole idea of demonstrated interest, like that, was that even a thing when we were going to college? Like, I don't feel like they cared whether we were interested in them. It was their job to recruit us.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but for me, my form of demonstrated interest was they would have the recruiter come to your high school, and it meant you could get out of 3rd period biology. And I was like, yes. I went to every single one, whether I was interested or not. So, you just showed up and listened to the recruiter. Sometimes there'd be 10 kids going. Sometimes you'd be the only one. It didn't matter. That was our form of demonstrated interest. And that
I don't even remember that.
Oh, that was the best. I loved it.
Maybe because I went to a small school. Maybe they didn't
school where they were rely on you.
Do college fairs still exist?
Yeah, I think they do. Although in the pandemic era, I'm sure it's all online. But yeah, I took one of my kids to a college fair, and it was that part hadn't changed too much. Like they had tables set up and you went from booth to booth and collected all the literature in your bag.
Yes. Which reminds me that I presume is a big difference how you learn about schools. We used to have like, I don't know who it was, like Princeton, was it Barron's or something? There was a whole book of colleges that had all the stats in them. And it was
Yeah.
that and the mail that you got,
Yeah.
the pile of books that.
Right. Well, one thing this hasn't changed is that the thing that triggers all the college mail is taking the PSAT.
Yes, that I remember.
Everybody still does. I don't know what's going on with that because of COVID. I think that's probably been messed up a little bit. But that is something that happens. Like as soon as you're on the radar and the floodgates open and your kid starts getting all the mail. But now it's more email thing.
Oh, okay. So they have to start checking their email because that's a problem.
Right. And when you talk about demonstrated interest, some of these colleges do track if you're opening the emails they send you and if you are doing anything with it. So, and it varies widely. Some care about it, some really don't. But if it's a college that you think your kid really is interested in, it would behoove them to A, check their email, which is something we have to tell teens to do because they don't like to, and B, to actually open it if it's a college that they think they're interested in, because it can't hurt and it could help.
We just had this discussion about the email in the last 2 to 3 weeks because there was a math project that somebody forgot about. Ooh. And the teacher said, oh, I sent emails to remind the kids. Not that it's the teacher's job. If they know their deadline, it's supposed to be their job to do it. But the teacher said, I sent emails. And my kid was like, I don't read my email. And I had heard something about the fact that they need to start doing that because of college.
Yeah, well, they should figure out a way to, to test them with that. It's like, I don't know if anybody here works at a company where they occasionally will test you to see if you'll click on a link for a phishing email. There are companies that do this to make sure that you're paying attention when they tell you, don't click on suspicious links. Well, they need to have something like that for like juniors.
Like the high school sends it out like an email.
If you read this email and you click and you respond to us, you're going to be entered into a drawing for a pizza or something. That would be a really interesting way to see, who's actually checking.
That's clever. Mm-hmm. I have another question for you, Jen. Since your daughters are both in college, so you know everything.
I do. You know it all.
When do families need to start thinking about college versus when we did? I don't even remember exactly when I started looking, or
preferably in utero is when you should think about it. Yeah, I feel like I started thinking about college about halfway through junior year, maybe. I don't know. It really it felt very much more laid back. That there is no doubt about that. And there's two different things going on. Like in terms of thinking about paying for college, yes, preferably in utero is actually the right answer because you do want to start.
Painful.
Just set it and forget it. Put $25 in your account every month. You'll never miss it, and it does add up. That's my commercial for that. But in terms of actually like thinking about the college process with your kid, typically kids should start thinking about going to look at some college campuses, perhaps as soon as their sophomore year. I would say not too much before then.
Okay, that's coming up in our house.
When I say look at, I mean like, oh, hey, we're driving past Oberlin because it's near us.
Yeah.
You know what their campus looks like. And you don't even get out of the car. You drive through it and you're like, oh, that's what a college campus looks like. It's like, it's breadcrumbs. Okay.
It's probably good for us parents too. Like, this whole idea of my child plus a college campus, that doesn't compute yet, but maybe the driving through will sort of ease it for us too.
Yeah, what we did is anytime we were on vacation with our kids, remember a vacation? Remember when you could actually leave your house? Maybe someday that'll happen again. If we happened to be near a campus, we would just maybe do either a drive-by, drive-through. If it's a pretty campus, maybe you walk through it. We have friends who live in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Went to UVA. Yeah. So we took that opportunity to walk the campus because it's lovely. And that's where Edgar Allan Poe, he had that room right there.
Yeah.
I mean, some pretty cool things that were not related to, hey, would you like to go to college here? It was much, much more subtle. And
it's just a pretty place. It just looks so beautiful and inviting. So
yeah. And so, that was like, you dip the toe in and you're like, oh, so it gives you the idea of this is what a college campus could feel like. And you want them to experience one that's a big campus, maybe one that's urban, maybe one that's suburban, and one that's rural, one that's public, one that's private.
what are we going to, I think we are, the lineup better than I do in this college course that we're doing, Destination College. We're going to talk about college visits, right? In the time of COVID.
Yes.
And what else is going to get covered?
We're going to talk about
financial aid.
Everything. We're going to talk about financial aid. There's a boot camp for how to fill out the FAFSA if you're at that point in the process, but also taking it back to just even well before then, trying to figure out like, how do you know what's a good financial fit? So I alluded to merit aid. We'll talk all about that.
And personal fit too. Aren't we talking about that?
Yeah. There's
I'm really curious about that because with no children in college, it just seems overwhelming. Aren't there thousands of colleges? Like, how are we going to figure that out? So
the good news to hear that is that there's like 4,000 some accredited four-year colleges and universities. So that's great because that means that there is a lid for every pot, as everybody's Jewish grandmother would say. And that means there's more than one right college for your kid. It's not like a zero-sum game, and you better find the needle in the haystack. There are many, many good potential fits for your kid.
And we're talking also about applications and extracurriculars, and aren't we even talking about life skills? So they're ready to leave the house?
Yes, all those good things.
So I'm excited myself because I think I'm going to learn a lot.
Yep. And the idea is not to stress people out. It's to de-stress you as a parent, to say, just like, remember when your kid has that first big project and it seems totally overwhelming, and you chunk it for them or with them, and you show them like, okay, you don't have to write the whole essay. You're not writing a 20-page paper in one night. You're going to learn about this. It's
hopefully.
Right. Well,
this helps with that because like I would not want to be in a panic about it. So I definitely want to know at least what the lay of the land is. Like, as a parent of a ninth grader, I'm not going to be applying for financial aid or the FAFSA yet. Right. But I feel like tell me what it is. Tell me all the things I'm going to be thinking about. I want to know what's coming down the road. So
absolutely. It's like circular knowledge. Remember, like how when they learn some of those math skills, they learn a little bit about it, and then they go a little bit deeper in the groove, and then a little bit deeper.
You have to hear it multiple times.
You do, and each time you're in a different point in the process, you take away something different from it, which is why they have those college nights sometimes at your high school. And you go to it and you come home and you're like, well, I didn't understand anything they were talking about, but you weren't there yet. And then the next time you go to it, you're like, oh, I get what they were talking about now with this. It's like a hidden language, and we're trying to demystify it. So that's the whole point.
Well, I would love to hear what other people's experiences were, what they're finding is different now, or what they're worried about with knowing how to navigate this process, and all that good stuff. Yeah. Share with us what you're thinking.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about things that are different once you get there, like
the
whole roommate thing. I mean, now they have these extensive questionnaires, some of these places. And it's like, dating, or you could do speed dating and try to pick your roommate. You get it, and we got who you got, and you didn't get upset.
We got. I went a few years later. We got a few questions, but the one that will still date me is, "Are you a smoker?"
Oh yeah, that was
the big one. Like, because if you are not a smoker, you don't want to live with a smoker. But now I doubt you're allowed to smoke, right?
There's still smoking that happens on college campuses, but they try to pretend like they're smoke free, but that's not what my kids will say. That's
more things for me to learn about
for another day. But
yes, another day. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us.
Make sure you tell me what hand cream I should be using, please.
Oh, you know what? I will post a picture of the daytime one that I use too.
Oh,
and that's if you can tell us the name of the lotion, but pictures, that means when you go to the Amazon or the store, you even know what you have a mental picture.
Well, I'll show you the picture of the one that's by my computer because you'll appreciate what's on it.
Aw. We love the
And
goats.
I do love this one. I
But
got it.
apparently it's not working, Jen. So
You know what?
bad on the goats.
It probably would work if I used it more regularly, but I love the way it smells because it has lavender in it, and I love goats. So it's just here to make me smile and remind me to use it.
Aw, so cute. All right. So we should probably let everybody go, and
Yep.
we'll see everyone next week.
Yep, we'll see you back here, same channel.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.